Hello there. How's everybody doing today? We're gonna wait a little bit to let people trickle in since it's still before when I said I would be starting the stream. But if you missed the first Maj'Eyal stream or tuned out because of the poor audio quality, we are a dwarf bulwark, which is a class that specializes in taking lots of damage and blocking things with a shield, wearing heavy armor, and generally trying to outlast any opponents. And where we left off last time, we had just beaten a storm mage that had been attacking a small town with air elementals. And I believe our next stop is a very imposing Tower of Doom filled with necromancy. And if my microphone's sounding off again, please do let me know. Got another couple of minutes to wait until we just hit the play button. And for those of you that are here, how do you feel about me streaming every day at inconsistent times? Oh, Tome. Tome is based. Yes, I agree, Pig D6. Tome is very based. It's a total classic of a roguelike. How's your day going? Wagey cagey. An unfortunate but necessary aspect of life at times. I do hope they free you from your cagey soon. The last time I was doing wagey cagey things, I was working in a tea shop. And that was a nice experience, actually. It wasn't that bad, but the pay was less than stellar. It was mostly doing inventory-related things and trying to sell people bulk tea. Spending the day surrounded by pleasant tea aromas was definitely an experience that I would do again under different circumstances. Indeed, a tale as old as time. I think probably one of the coziest jobs in antiquity with shit pay would have been a charcoal producer. You gather wood, you pack it, you set it on fire, and you wait, all out in the middle of a forest with nobody around. And you only go and see other people when you need to trade things with them or sell your charcoal. This was an actual job that people did in Europe for hundreds of years. Alright, so it's getting close enough to the time I said that I'd start. It's time to hit that play button on the correct save file and get back into it. I always like the loading screen art in this game. Sometimes it's a little amateurish, but it's very impressive nonetheless. And here we are. Now, I believe our next step after having defeated that Storm Mage right, we had yet to claim the reward for that. So we'll just do that right now, since we're already here. Quest completion, and a Rune of Dissipation. When activated, 8 beneficial magical sustains are removed from an enemy target, or all magical debuffs are removed from us. That seems useful, but I quite like the simple infusions that we have right now. Healing, pain resistance, and regeneration, those are optimal for bulwark, I think. Ah, yes, indeed. The next stop on our quest is to visit this tower down here. Oh, if any of you were here for the first stream, we've been having terrible luck with these escort quests. And they're usually elves. They just wander in to fights and die. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but it seems that this is also not one of those times. Since this, oh, this is a human this time, oh. Well, this human that wanted us to escort them is almost dead already. And the human is dead. Well, that's just how escort quests go sometimes. And it seems we're taking a lot of damage from this rare Drake hatchling. Seems to have steam gun perks, is what that sound effect is, but we beat him down no problem. Oh, the game category is wrong again. Oh gosh, that is something. That is something I forgot. Thank you for letting me know, Egg. That should be fixed now. Thank you very much. That's a dead end there. How's your day going, Egg? Got anything planned for later? Ooh, working on something you might stream tonight. I'll look forward to it and try to catch you if I'm still awake. I've been missing out on some sleep recently, and I hope that all of you here with me today are getting some good sleep, even if you'd like to stay up. Sleep is important. Unfortunately, sleep also gets in the way of doing things. Yeah, there is no way that human would have made it to this portal. That purple portal right there. Fighting off these undead as we clear this floor. And it's time to turn on Auto Explore. Just get this wrapped up really quick. since this is quite a long dungeon. Ah, fire drakes. You know, I've got a couple of funny stories about fire. I think my favorite is, probably the time that I had last used a toaster oven. A little countertop, electric oven kind of deal. I'd been trying to make some garlic bread in it, and the garlic bread had spontaneously caught fire, but I was not attending it. I was in the garage at the time, and the toaster oven just burned for about 5 minutes because it had set the garlic bread on fire on a normal heat setting, mind you. That almost burned down the place I was living, but luckily we had a concrete patio that we could just chuck the thing, and then I ran to get the fire extinguisher. So that was a little scary when that happened. That was probably 8 or 9 years ago. Get some named items there from these drakes in this sealed off room. There's still more of them. But we're not having too much difficulty clearing them out. Looks like we might get some gear upgrades here too, if those aren't two-handed weapons. The sound effect sounds like a burp. The drake's attacking? Oh yes, it definitely sounds like a burp. It's good observation, Ilska. Alright, so what did we all get out of that room? A battle axe, a longsword. We can use a longsword. Deals more damage, doesn't cripple. Less elemental damage, but it's fire instead of cold. No stat buff. But the raw damage is nice. So we can actually put that on an offset. Or we can just replace our current mace. Currently we have frosty boots that provide a lot more than just 4 armor. We have a helmet that increases our strength in magic, but we're not exactly using magic. Although it's probably better than the hat that we're wearing right now. Even though we can't use some of the special effects on that item, it provides much more armor. And it also looks kind of cool on our dwarf there. Do you have any stories related to fire, chat? How many escorts have you successfully saved? 0 this character. None of them have made it out alive. I've tried my best. I've body blocked for them. I have ran ahead and tried to clear it out, but something about the generation and enemies with area of effect attacks, they all just die. And you know, they're not dying intentionally unless they're elves. But it just happens. Can't explain it. Ah, a monster zoo. This'll be nice. Nice pile of XP. Turn on our bulwark there, since that's probably why we're taking so much damage. These mental effects, like confusion, is why the screen is so blurry and why some of our moves aren't working properly. They're one of the more dangerous things that can happen to a non-magic character. It's going around cracking doors, and that is our signal to go to the next floor. A Shard of Insanity. That's a psionic item. Affects mind power and stuff we don't really care about. It's a two-handed weapon. It's a poor rune. Although if we had an open slot, which we don't, we could make use of it. 2 armor on our gloves. Much more armor here, but less elemental resistance. You boiled some sausages and eggs, but forgot all about them and only remembered when the smoke reached all the way to your room and filled the house. No fire, but the place smelled of meat for days. Now, was that a good meat smell or a bad meat smell? Because I've had that happen before, where I leave the oven on after baking something. Just mistakenly take it out of the oven and then prep it to cool and then forget to turn the oven off because I'm done with it. These gloves here are not particularly better than our current gloves, so they can get turned into gold with the rest. We have a quite good shield right now, so these are trash, and then the rest is ranged gear. And I'm glad that that was just a smoke event instead of an actual fire pig. Having things get set on fire is never a fun time. Unless you're having a bonfire or something. There's a ghost around here. There it is. Gone. I spotted a digging spot. Well, it looks like we can't dig through that. We'll try one more time. Ah, there we go. Fires refuse to cooperate once they're out of control. Indeed. Fire control is, interesting historically. Since, some cultures in the world have practiced, unmitigated fires as an agricultural practice. I don't believe that's done anywhere today, though. You had your foot set on fire once when your friend spilled lighter fluid on you while camping. Oh gosh, Ilska, that's terrible. Is your foot okay? Oh, hello, Airy Pie. Yes, this is Tales of Maj'Eyal. Oh, we're talking about fires right now. Talking about stories related to fire. Do you have any, Airy Pie? I have one more up my sleeve. When I was a wee boy, I think about six years old, my babysitter was getting married, and I was invited to be a ring bearer at her wedding. Oh, you try to keep all your fires contained. That's good practice, generally, yes. I was invited to be a ring bearer at her wedding because it would be, she thought it would be cute having twins be the flower girl and ring bearer. And at the, I believe it's called a reception, the party after the wedding, there were little chocolate seashell things. And me being a 6-year-old child with a insatiable sweet tooth, I was grabbing for them as much as I could, but I was quite short. In fact, I was so short that I couldn't see the top of the table that they were resting on. So while I was reaching up to grab these chocolates, I was unaware that there were candles on the table. So I had inadvertently set my outfit on fire reaching for those chocolates. Luckily, one of my parents at the time had spotted me doing this and ran from across the room to come put my arm out because I was blissfully unaware that I was on fire. And for those of you just joining us, we're playing a Dwarf Bulwark, and we're scaling the Tower of Dreadfell right now. Believe we're ready to move on to the next floor. Yes. Some rings that don't beat out the rings we currently have, some inferior single-handed weapons, ranged weapons, magic gear, an axe that deals about 20 less damage than our current axe, and some inferior armor and a psychic item, a psychic torque. I like this 10% chance to negate blows entirely from wherever this item came from. But the bonus physical resistance and damage on that makes me want to keep this around. Ah, another escort quest for us to fail. How nice. Hopefully we have better luck with this boy than the last. He might make it, but it's not too late for him to die, and okay. He's in. That's the first escort quest we've gotten done. Now you can see that we get offered stat points and skill levels from completing escort quests. So we've been missing out on quite a lot of character progression by having the NPCs die. But these strength and constitution options are very nice, and these can actually boost us over the current cap for whatever it is our level is at. But I think we will take a... You know what? We'll actually take the Constitution. More health is always nice, and this is a pretty dangerous dungeon, usually. Although it's not too dangerous for us. We haven't been having any real difficulty with any of the enemies. Oh, and it looks like there's some level points to spend. Generic points can get some saves up. And thick skin to 15% all damage reduction. Probably put the class points into shield expertise for more saves and damage on our two main shield attacks. 2 points in the constitution and the rest into strength. And we're all caught up on levels. Very small monster zoo here. Nothing particularly dangerous in there, so we can just bash them all. Slightly larger monster zoo. As this is a Necromancer's Tower, most of the enemies we're fighting in here are undead. Which prodigy am I planning to get? I don't know yet. I'm not particularly an expert at the at some of the later game aspects of Maj'Eyal. But we can take a look at the prodigies right now, and I think... not that one. It's one of these. I think it's Spine of the World is the first one, but I could be wrong. Looks like this floor is almost done. There's an imposing fire drake here. A level 37 unique drake. An old and powerful fire drake armed with deadly breath and nasty claws. I'm wondering if we can fight this thing. Don't exactly have any tricks up our sleeve. It's got 3,000 health, so if it had any regeneration, it would probably do us in. And I don't know how much damage it would be doing. I think we have to try. Got some unarmed combat fists there. Pretty good gloves, actually, but I can't put them on right now since I'd lose a turn in combat. As this drake sets the entire room on fire. It looks like he's got two buddies that I didn't notice. So this is a much less fair fight than I had anticipated. Oh, there we go. Taking on fights that we can't win. So we'll roll a new character. Honestly, I was surprised that that run had been going as smoothly as it did. Are there any classes that you would like to see played, chat? If not, I think I'll default to a Necromancer. If I can find what tab the Necromancer is under. There he is. Dwarf Necromancer. Alright. Looks good. And for character creation, a lot of the Necromancer stuff is new since the last time I played Necromancer, since they did a class update to it. You already have a 11 in this. This is our main necromancy spell. It summons skeletons. So if we take some magic points, we can put another level into that and get better skeletons. I think we'll do that and upgrade our Darkness Beam. Put one more point into magic. The generic point goes into the very useful passive that Necromancers get that allows them to go further into the negative life pool. It decreases your positive life pool, but you get more actual hit points than you lose. So this is the same starting dungeon, mini dungeon, as last time since we're a dwarf still. However, we do not have heavy armor to help us survive, so we'll be hiding behind a wall of skeletons as much as possible. And our darkness beam should be able to make short work of most critters. It's always a little disappointing when you suffer character death like that, but it's best to just move on from it. Don't get too attached when you're playing permadeath. And the beam is actually an area of effect attack in a line. So if enemies line up in a straight line, it's very beneficial to hit all of them with it. So there's the stairs to the next floor, but we want to get as much experience out of this place as we can. You can see how fragile we are as a necromancer. We only have 25 hit points. But we have a couple hundred hit points available to us in the negative spectrum. Although that isn't particularly represented on the UI that well. Should be almost done with this floor at this point. Skeleton's securing a level up for us there off screen. Ah, Constitution Amulet with some lightning resistance. Don't mind if I do. And then the rest of this is stuff that we can't really use. This staff is essentially identical to the one we have right now. Although it reminds me, staff attunements are a thing. I think it's a... yes, it's a star staff, darkness. So now our darkness beam will do slightly more damage. Staff attunements are not new. They've been in the game for a long time, but you can only use them, I think, if you have... is it staff skills in your character sheet? No, it can't be. I think it's just an inherent skill that you get when you're wielding a staff. And it makes it so that you're not trying to look for a specific item roll on a staff to give you the element that you are casting the most with. So that you can just take the staff at its... at face value, really. Although sometimes a staff will have a fixed elemental affinity to it already. That's not really an achievement since we're a necromancer. You get that if you have negative life too. Since it's just a check for if you have 1 or less life. Is that where that cog came from? Yes. Yes, it is. We'll take it. Yeah, in strange form, this game is actually an online game to some extent. It's got network connectivity and some online features. Most prominently, the chat box in the lower right that broadcasts character deaths. Looks like we're almost done with this floor, too. Ah, that's just the way the game goes, see? We get all of this melee armor gear when we're playing a wizard. And here's the I guess you could call him a boss of the dwarf tutorial dungeon. Drops the same items we got last time. And a staff that is slightly better than our current staff. We'll just swap that back over to darkness. And get out of here. Our dwarf companion thanks us. And then parts. We have 4 levels to spend from that tutorial dungeon all at once here. I think we'll try to get blurred mortality up as much as we can as fast as possible. That uses up all our generic points, but now we have a minus 233 lower end to our life pool. And also 14% increased resistances while our life total is negative. The class points will go into the skeletons first. And the passive that shatters the skeletons for area of effect damage. Upgrade the darkness beam. Many more points into magic. Our magic is capped out for our level now. And I think the secondary thing we want is willpower as a mage, since it increases our mana pool. Although necromancers use souls, which is a weird currency for casting based on killing things. Every time you kill a thing, you get a soul, and there are some spells that consume souls in order to do their casts. Have you ever broken a bone, chat? Never broken a bone. Well, you can join the illustrious Clean Bones Club, or whatever you'd like to call it. You too, Airy Pie. It's certainly an experience dealing with hospitals and stuff. Broken limbs. I've never broken a bone voluntarily. Like falling from a tree I wanted to climb, but there was one time in grade school, where we were playing street hockey as part of physical ed. And a mischievous little brat of a child decided it would be a good idea to put his hockey stick in between somebody else's legs while we were all rollerblading. So I took a bit of a fall there, braced myself with my left arm, and that cracked on the asphalt. Fell off the monkey bars. Grandma sent you to a witch doctor instead of a real one. It healed, but moving your arm felt weird for half a decade. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's all healed up now, I hope. Now, when you say witch doctor, do you mean like somebody that really hates the idea of chemical medicine? Or do you mean like an actual believes in magic witch doctor? Since I once knew a person. It's a local healer in the backwoods of your country. Congo would know. Ooh, I might have to ask him later. Since that does sound interesting. I once knew a person that really despised like chemical medicine. And one of the things that they really believed was that formal medicine was mostly useful for fixing broken bones and things related to anatomy. And put all of their trust into herbal medicine for fixing colds, coughs, things like gout, anything involving swelling. Ah, a robe upgrade. So if you weren't here last time, this is a an intimidating foe with a weakness being that he sends out little larvae. And if you kill those larvae, he takes a lot of damage. So perhaps the person that I know that really believes in herbal medicine is in a similar vein to your witch doctor. Ah, we're out of mana here. It's not very nice. There we go, a little trickier than last time since we are terrible in melee, but got it done. Ha! My mouth. It tastes. It feels. It grows. Yes, yes. The others are changing, flying, screaming, squelching, warping, bad for profit, My teeth, they grow, they hunger, yes, they want to escape. I can feel in my dreams, the dark depths, bound, buried, forgotten. My mouth wants to open, to scream, to destroy, deep below, yes. Want to get out. Must stay down here to be close to the dreams, yes, yes. Must plant my mouth in the soil and watch it grow. It will devour me and grow, It will call from the dark place and bring back him from the deepest below, oh yes. Tom Moth, the mouth, yes, yes. So this lore snippet is kind of implying that this cursed mine hole was brought about by some eldritch being consuming the mind and then the body of a dwarf that went mad, which I think is a little neat. I think if I were contacted by an extra-dimensional being, I'd go mad too. Got a couple levels out of it, though. Automatic area of effect damage every time we cross between negative and positive life in either direction. That seems good. I think we'll take that and put a point into the Dwarf Racial Protection spell. Upgrade our Darkness Beam to maximum. Dump all of the points we can into magic. Get a couple health points, one into willpower. Then we're out going to do the beginner dungeons again, since this is a new character. And this time we have skeletons to accompany us, so most of the work can be done for us. Instead of having to bash everything manually, we have a goon squad of skeletons doing the work. You can just sit back and watch and everything will die right before our eyes. Isn't that lovely? Oh! A staircase. I wonder if we can do this right now. Seems like we can. Although I can't get an angle where I can hit both of these guys anywhere with my Darkness Beam. Easy enough, though. Three named items in here. 4 named items in here. Very interesting. And what do they all do? An amulet that makes us avoid all traps that require pressure to activate. That also gives us defense and movement speed and slows projectiles. I will definitely put that on. A willpower ring with some saves attached. A strength ring with life regeneration. I think we can replace our strength ring with that willpower ring. Sword we can't use. Better robes. Definitely better robes. And some nature and magical gloves. I think we want to put on these darkness gloves, since they increase our darkness damage, and we're dealing darkness damage with our Darkness Beam. That's a lot of darkness. And we can put on this cap, why not? Now, I'm not quite sure what the lower limit for our health pool is right now, so we're just going to rest up to full. We continue blasting out the Trollmire here. Oh, there's a troll. Haven't seen too many of them here yet, even though the place is named after him. And move on to the next zone now. We did get a level, we'll do that as soon as we finish with the inventory management here. A belt that's not particularly useful to us, but we don't have anything better. And not much else. Yep. So another point into the automated area of effect damage. And we'll get a better skeleton. Max out the magic, and we're good to go. Can you remember the first time that you went to a zoo, Chad? If you've ever been. And if you did go, at a later age, why did you go? I went to a zoo first when I was about 4 years old. And I mostly went to see the penguins. Penguins are my favorite animal. How they look like they're wearing formal clothes. And how they waddle around and swim with grace. And the last time that I went to a zoo, it was to see a red panda, actually. A little kind of fox-like creature. I have no idea why they're called pandas. But he was a cute little bugger, and they seem to have an affinity for hopping about trees. Their little bushy tails, too. Room full of infusions covered in rats. Just blast through that with one darkness beam. Blood of Undeath. That seems useful. Not too useful belt. Some very basic infusions that aren't better than what we have right now. Take the time we have here to assemble a bone golem before we go into this Roll Glen. It's like our bone golem's stuck on that mage there for a moment. We're level 10 already. Put that category point into the skeleton tree. Upgrade our bone golem a little bit. And probably start working on the soul skills. Like the one that gives us instant health. Max out our magic, couple points into willpower. 1 point into health. And then back to the world map. Ah, boots. Boots we can wear, finally. A tree trunk we can't use, and a healing infusion that doesn't scale with what we're looking for. We'll jump straight into the next dungeon. Ah, an escort quest. Perhaps with all of these skeletons, we can actually complete it this time. Even though we can jump straight to the end of this dungeon. We'll take the escort quest because of the rewards, the potential rewards he has for us. Although getting him into the portal in a narrow hallway filled with skeletons might be difficult. Looks like there's enough space, though. There we go, and we can take 5 free stat points into Constitution from that. And then proceed to clear out the floor of the dungeon. A journal page. Damn that Zemeckis. Damn his insane experiments. Why in the blackest night did I ever agree to take part in them? Oh, yeah, because I was broke. Ugh. I think I might have considered things differently had I known I'd be transported without my clothes, though. Imagine my embarrassment turning up in a foreign land with my unmentionables on display. Thankfully, I managed to borrow a robe from a friendly farmer and did some work for him to earn gold enough for a bit of food, a journal, and a rusty old sword. When I heard there were ruins filled with undead nearby, I knew my calling had come. So here I am, mighty sun paladin Telthar, to prove my strength in these foreign lands of the West. But all I've found so far is rats. I hate rats. I hate rats too, although sometimes they're quite funny. Let's manually target this to hit all 4 of them at once. Ah, cloak. Can reduce damage dealt by 16%. Yeah, that seems useful enough. Boots of Speed. Don't we already have a movement speed increasing item? I wonder how that scales. Stacking movement speed. Yeah, we'll save those. Another escort quest, and the portal is right here. Interesting. Seems like the game is being more generous all of a sudden. We can get 5 free levels into magic there. That should put us... Yes, it puts us over the cap for what we should be able to have right now. So our spells that scale with magic will be doing somewhat unbalanced damage at the moment. Another room filled with rats. Short work, though. Oh, ants this time. I almost prefer the rats. Another journal page here. This place is infested. I've found a lot of skeletons now, and unfortunately most of them have borne a full set of limbs. However, my holy quest cannot be denied. Plus, I got a really great sword off one of the blighters. I can chop anything up easily now. The skeletal mages have been a nightborn nuisance, but I found a new weapon to use against them, a phase door rune. As soon as I caught sight of one of the robed wretches, I activated my room and boom! I'm away. It's not fleeing, it's just tactical repositioning. That isn't a principle to survive by, I don't know what is. Tactical repositioning. Could have used some tactical repositioning when our last character walked into that dragon's den. Ooh, what's this? A gun snake. From a bygone era, it slithers. I can only assume it's a snake that has a gun for a face. Not particularly challenging of a foe. I am not even going to attempt to pronounce this. All of those consonants, just looking at them scares me. Quickzischl. What a strange name. Seems to be that it's a an artifact from the corpse of a defeated necromancer. Lots of infusions from this floor. Although it doesn't seem like any of them... Oop, nope. There's a shielding rune that scales with our magic stat. Store that. And a nice looking wizard hat. That gives us more darkness damage. For sure we'll take that. Alright, somewhat surrounded by weak enemies here. managing our skeletons there. Noticed that we were missing our golem. And I think we'll stop with this character after we die or clear out this dungeon here. Just wanted a little short Sunday stream today. Ooh! And the boss of the dungeon dropped a very nice robe. Silk Current. Although it affects cold damage. We don't deal a lot of cold damage right now, but necromancers can spec into dealing cold damage. I think it's definitely better than our current robe, and it also stacks movement speed on top of the amulet we're wearing. So we'll just make sure this floor is done. Yep. And there we go. Ooh, got a level to do before we end it. Let's max out our giant bone golem. Get the next points into... Is that really the right choice, though, on generic points? Ah, something that encourages us to drop infusions and use runes. Well, we have 2 infusions that we really like right now, so I don't think we want to put points into that immediately. We'll just max out across the veil. Max points into magic, 1 point into health, 2 into willpower. And that should do it for a level. To all of you that are still here, thank you for coming. I know it was a short stream today, but there will be many more in the future. Any closing words from the chat? Ah, Ilska, thank you. Thank you for coming. No problem. It's really a pleasure to be streaming these games that I quite enjoy. Thank you for coming, Miyohento. I assume that is a close enough pronunciation. And thank you for coming, Croaker. Until next time, have a good and nice night or day, or whatever time in the world it is for you. Bye-bye.